Hey guys and gals, so this video is going to cover my thoughts on the new wellness class. It was recently announced that it will take place at this year's Olympia, as there is now enough pros to justify doing so. And I'm not going to cover the athletes just yet, although you will be bombarded with images of them throughout the video. Instead, I'm going to try and explain what I think makes this division unique enough to form an identity and justify its inclusion. And I will make predictions as to how popular I see it becoming. Why wellness? So I've seen a lot of annoyance, mostly from men, and confusion, mostly from women, regarding wellness. Many feel we don't need an addition to the already bloated 5 classes. I've even seen Dave Palumbo, who's one of the more enthusiastic fans, reluctant to embrace it. But I'm not in that camp. When I first heard about the division, I immediately knew I was going to like it. I know this is a slippery slope, but having too few divisions for women will compel them to feel insecure about their body because it doesn't fit into a desired set of parameters. And this is a sport that attracts a lot of people already experiencing body insecurity issues. If a female has big joints and doesn't want to push herself to the most extreme end of the sport, she doesn't really have many options at the moment. But wellness should change that. What exactly is wellness? So in Latin America, many women have rewrote the workout splits we take as gospel in the Occidental part of the world. Rather than train legs once or twice and then hit upper body 3 to 4 times a week, many Latinas have elected to do the opposite. And this is something women, as their lower body is much stronger relative to their upper body, excel at. Anatomically, women are generally more bottom heavy and consequently have a lower center of gravity, and their stamina and recovery there seems to exceed that of men. So from a performance perspective, wellness incorporates a methodology of training that women perform very, very well at. Men don't know it yet, but they are going to find wellness extremely attractive. One of the things I never understood about the sport was why female competitors are judged by their shoulder to waist ratio similar to how men are. And it seemed to me that the judging criteria wasn't as well thought out and just copy-pasted from what they had in place when designing the female counterparts. And this is something that made me think back to a college anthropology course. So the best way scientists have come up with to quantify body attraction women look for in men is a high shoulder to waist ratio. And while that's probably the most important criterion in male bodybuilding, what do you think the men prioritize in women? If you haven't guessed by now, it's actually a high hip to waist ratio. And you'll find that this holds true whether a woman is very skinny or has a bit of extra thickness, so I feel confident in saying that this division is going to appeal to both genders, albeit in different ways. The physiques aren't going to be seen as unrealistic to the average woman. This is probably going to be the biggest draw to wellness. Women working long hours or devoting enormous amounts of energy into their daily routine can still find time for it. The division doesn't seem to require the strenuous amounts of dieting that some of the others do that can be incapacitating. And that's something men haven't caught on to yet. They think of it as a quest to attain a big booty, when in actuality it's a very natural, organic way women can train. In fact, one of the new pros has made time for it during her surgery residency. And the physiques aren't going to be seen as too much by the average Joe. Additionally, the training seems to produce the results any new gym goer strives for. As a side note to those doing copious amounts of sit-ups trying to build that elusive six-pack, take note from these women, as almost all of them have well-defined cores. And this is something you see in CrossFit as well. Why do you think that is? My theory is it's the heavy and constant squatting and deadlifting that build it rather than the small isolation movements. Wellness will thrive at both the NPC and IFBB level. One of the more curious things I found is how each division fluctuates in popularity as it moves up or down the ladder. Take bikini for example. It is enormously popular at the local level, but is probably one of the lesser followed divisions at the pro ranks due to the average fan. And I should point out that it does have an enormous fan base, but it just seems to be a tad disjointed from the general bodybuilding one. And then you could take physique or open, where there's hardly anyone competing at the local shows, yet the top pros have an enormous amount of name recognition and following. So where do I see wellness falling? I think it's going to do very well at every level of the totem pole. It might not rival bikini at the local level, but it will give it a run for its money. and it should steal a significant chunk of the athletes, which is a good thing, as I feel the local shows can become a bit oversaturated with bikini and men's physique. But as for the top pros, I already see them garnering millions of followers on Instagram, and this is before people are seeing their pictures plastered all over the place. Wellness will form a bridge between the IFBB and social media. I've often noticed that many of the most popular social media stars fail to make inroads when they try their hand at competing. Yes, a person's face is a variable, but it is not and should not be considered in the judging. But there's also something else at play here. And I've seen profiles with over 1 million followers not able to attain a pro card, and I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that wellness will have the highest correlation with pro cards and a large social media following. And I'm not saying that someone with a huge following will be a lock to do well in the division per se, but it's going to be very likely. One observation I found on profiles with a jaw-dropping amount of followers is a crazy hip-to-waist ratio, as I explained why in the last chapter. The uncertainty of the division makes it exciting. So of all the Olympias I've attended, it's been a significant amount. Perhaps the most magical moment I witnessed was Dana Lynn Bailey's rise to victory at the first Physique Olympia. Maybe it was due to her rock star popularity at the time, the uncertainty of what was going to happen, or the fact that people were excited to see something new, but it's something that's still hard to explain even today. And wellness is in a similar boat now. The judging hasn't really been ironed out, and as a result the fans haven't gotten enough results to dissect. Before I made this video, I thought there was a heavy favorite, but after looking at the recent placings, I'm not sure that's still the case. And I'll elaborate on this in a future video, but this thing is wide open, and I'll leave it at that. So that's my initial thoughts on this division. I've been meaning to do this video for quite some time before anyone was even talking about it, so seeing it build momentum as I put it off makes me feel a bit late to the party. I'm not sure how big it's going to become, but I absolutely see it emerging to become one of the 3 most popular classes. What's weird is I'm not sure which division I'd currently categorize as the most popular. The Open seems to be the most impressive, Physique the most inspirational, Figure the most glamorous, Bikini the most attainable and marketable, and Fitness the most athletic. I plan on doing a video in the near future covering the NASAT field of athletes, and hopefully a ranking one leading up to the Olympia. But I haven't decided on what other topics I should cover before the season begins, so if you have any requests, let me know in the comments. So if you enjoyed this video, ding the bell, smash the like, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel out and also helps me ascertain what videos do well and what does not. So as always, good luck to everyone, stay safe, and thanks for watching.